So if I'm right about the 10 mortgages on one house problem, and I'm sure I am right, and the fact that they never cleaned it up after the financial crisis, you need a structure that will allow private people to manage that line, because it's not economic, right?
Yeah.
You need a way to siphon money out of the mortgage system without it being threatened by shareholders sticking their nose in. So you want to combine the government guarantee and let private parties have access essentially to free use of the federal credit for the mortgage market. I mean, the notion that private parties should be able to just issue federal credit in hundreds of billions of dollars, trillions of dollars, that is a very dangerous combination. The mortgages will only be guaranteed if you use FHA or VA to guarantee them, or private mortgage insurer to guarantee them. What Fannie does is provide a guarantee to the securities holder, which means you can sell these mortgages all around the world without anybody worrying about what's inside of them.
Right.
This is how we got to the financial crisis the last time.
It's the securitized package
Right.
that's going to remain AAA.
Right.
Right.
Right. And it's going to, if I read this correctly, it's not just going to be a government-sponsored enterprise AAA. It's going to be a full faith and credit AAA. And that means
the Fed can buy either one.
Right.
Yeah. As long as the government guarantee is essential to a Fed buying the asset, for sure.
Right. Although remember, with the downgrade, it's not necessarily, it depends. It's not necessarily going to be AAA.
Okay, but the Fed, the point is, the Fed's going to buy whatever the government gives its imprimatur to.
The Fed can buy this stuff all day long. This is a very bad framework if what you want is an honest financial system.
Right.
Right. This is asking for trouble.
For the reason you said, which is that private parties are coming in and basically being able to package stuff and sell stuff as AAA with the backing of the federal government.
Right.
They're putting the public on the line. Private parties are putting the public on the line with assets that are probably going to be bogus, which is why they're interested in it to begin with.
But this is private parties with a long record of violating financial management laws and fraud.
Right. Let's double down on what caused the 2008 crisis. That's what's going on here.
Basically, what they're going to do is they're going to allow them to police the line that protects the organized crime and then skims off any retail crime. So you get very tight control, and you're the only guy who can do crime, but you can do it in huge amounts.
Right.
And you need that, John. If you're going to privatize, if you're going to sell stock in Fannie Mae and re-privatize Fannie Mae and give them a federal government guarantee, particularly if it's full faith and credit, you need somebody who manages the line between retail crime and wholesale crime, and you need to protect the wholesale crime. And here's how you do it.
Right.
Right.
And Palantir, the party that's protecting the wholesale crime, Palantir, is also the one deciding now whether you get to have a mortgage.
Right, because this is going to be part of the social credit system. Palantir just announced a federal advisory board, and guess who goes on the federal advisory board? Is Deborah Birx. So get ready. If you don't get your monthly vaccine, your mRNA gene therapy, then you don't get a mortgage.
Yeah, you're fraudulent. You're a fraudulent mortgage applicant. So get out of here.